Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, James Sweeney, and it's a Thursday afternoon here in New York City. And guess what? It's about that time for us to shine. I'm in the studio over here in Wall Street, trading about to come to a close, and it really has not been the brightest of days on Wall Street. Stocks, they're down. Even more importantly, the Mets, they lost last night on a walk-off. Not a good day. And I want to walk on out of here and right into a bar. So in other words, it's time to imbibe. Grab yourself a drink, lift it high in the sky, and cheers. It's an emotional happy hour here in New York City. It's been a tough Thursday for the Dow Jones, falling more than 300 points intraday amid continued uncertainty over the timing of a rate hike and a steep slide in oil prices. But first, let's talk oil. Crude oil struggling to remain above $41 a barrel this afternoon after falling below that level early today to hit a new 6.5-year low. Adding to concerns, overseas, the Shanghai Composite in China plunging nearly 3.5% as investors fail to support recent government measures. While on the domestic economic front, initial jobless claims figures coming in at 277,000, a little bit higher than expected, but still remaining consistent with an improving labor market. While existing home sales figures, they rose to an 8-year high. While leading indicators, they fell 0.2% during the month of July. And the Philadelphia Fed index for the month of August coming in 8.3. And that's really all for economic reports. A big day for data. Team that with volatility in oil prices, as stated earlier, with futures contracts expiring. Crude oil futures for September delivery last up, when I last checked, 44 cents to 41.24 a barrel over at the New York Mercantile Exchange. And gold futures for December delivery, that jumping $25.30 to 11.5320 a troy ounce. You team all of that. You combine it all together, and you have yourself a session right now where 3 stocks have declined for every advancer over at the big board. Let's now take a look to see how the markets have shaped up to close out this very volatile and mostly negative trading session. And on the corporate front, we have to talk about Sears losing an adjusted 67 cents per share for its latest quarter, but that's smaller than the loss of $2.50 estimated by most analysts providing estimate figures. And with that stated tonight, there's a big game for the Mets. We're one day away from the weekend. I have a good feeling about everything. I also have a good feeling about the way everything's been going here. We had great feedback from yesterday's interview conducted by ModernWallStreet.com's own Nelda Smits with Stephen Sarge Guilfoyle. Keep it coming, guys. And with that stated, tomorrow's the weekend. Let's get it going. I'm in a good mood. Until tomorrow morning, I'm James Sweeney with ModernWallStreet.com.